Okay, now we can just run through all these slides. Okay. Like they were saying, in BW we can do planning and forecasting, we can do leveraging, understand and reduce the leakages in the business process. You can know where it is, where the problem is, and then you can monitor the complete business process. You can have data for, you can analyze, you can use reporting for analysis. Decision making process can be done. You can do consolidation of data from different tracking systems. That's what I just gave it with all the cases. Same thing, you understand this. And this is what it is, data warehousing. You will have different source systems, extract all this, perform ETL, and then do what? Data warehouse, and then do reporting. This complete flow, ETL, warehousing, reporting, all can be done with BW. And further, on top of BW, you can insert, can have other applications getting inserted, like say business objects sitting on top of BW, BPC sitting on top of BW. So you have other applications sitting on top of it also. So these are the versions we had. So in the middle we are calling it as BA, but now it is called as what? BW 7.3. Now we already have it 7.4 SP8 is the latest one. Yeah. So now BW basically have the 4 parts: extraction, modeling, and reporting, and tuning. So when I say extraction, as part of this topic, you should understand or learn how do I extract from different sources into BW. Let's say I have got my business customer who is storing his planning data in some Excel file. How do I bring in? Let's say I've got my client who is actually has got all his sales orders in ECC. How do I extract all those sales orders from ECC into BW and provide it for analysis? It could be any kind of data, any system, we should be able to extract it. It could be web service, XML files, anything should be able to extract it. Okay. If there's some extreme case which you're not able to extract, then you would be using some third-party ETL tools to integrate to it. Okay. Then we have something on modeling. Look at this. This is how we're going to have cube which is stored in multi-dimensional model. So we're going to look as part of modeling. We're going to learn how do I model my data. So in BW we're going to store data in a multi-dimensional format. We'll have different data containers because the data what we extracted from any source. Okay, we actually store in containers like ODS, cube, master data, PSA. There are a lot of objects where we do staging. So how do we model those objects, or how do we create those, how do we design those objects, and how do we create those objects is what you look at as part of modeling. Okay, and then reporting. So BW also has got its own reporting components called BEX, Business Explorer, which will have query designer, analyzer, WAD, all this. And now you might have heard about something called SAP to core business objects, right? So with business objects, there is no reporting in BW and chana atla kada. Okay, that is not the way. In BW, you will have something called BEX query designer, through which you design a query, and this query should be integrated into BO environment. That's the best way of doing that. If you know BO, there's something called WebB which can directly talk to BEX queries. You don't need any universe here. So because the BEX query designer is used to design your query. Query is like a question onto your database. So we design your query onto the query designer. Okay. Because when you run the query designer, it actually uses something called OLAP engine, which is really, really strong, which can perform huge calculations on fly like that. Okay. So what they're saying, what SAP says is to really utilize that OLAP functionality of BW, create a BEX query and then use this BEX query into BO environment. And now latest with 4.1, you don't even need universe for it. Straight away BEX query can be consumed in WebB report directly as a source without any universe. Yeah? And BEX queries can be consumed directly into XLCS. Now already future of XLCS is gone. Now we have something called Design Studio. And if you heard about something called Design Studio, kottaga tool ochindi, okay? It's a dashboarding tool which is going to replace XLCS. What this does, this can be installed on anything. We can install Design Studio on business objects. We can install this on top of BW. We can install this on top of HANA also. Okay, and if you install this on BW, it can consume BEX queries directly into it and design dashboards on HTML5, or when I say HTML5, it can be mobile apps also. So same way the report what is designed in Design Studio can be published directly onto mobile iPads or iPhones also, Android also, straight away. There is no complexity. Create a BEX query, get into Design Studio, publish into mobile or whatever it is, iPads or whatever it is. Dashboarding straight away on this, and is also given flexibility. If you already created XLCS dashboard, those also can be incorporated into Design Studio also. You see. So future would be Design Studio is a tool of future. Okay, if you're in SAP environment, it will be Design Studio future of course. Okay. అంటే అది ఎన్ని మారినా కూడా అల్టిమేట్ బెక్స్ క్వెరీ డిజైన్ మాత్రం ఫిక్స్డ్ అండి. You have to use query designer, then use a query in any other, because when you use query, it means you're using OLAP functionality of BW. SAP is encouraging towards that, utilizing the OLAP functionality, OLAP engine. Okay. And then performance tuning. Let's say you extract data from different source into BW. Let's say it is slow. How do we speed it up? Let's say you're running a huge query with huge data. It is running slow. How do we improve the performance of the query? So as part of performance tuning, we would go touch that point. And this is what I was referring. There's something called SAP NetPure. What SAP does is, as a marketing strategy, they sell it as a suite. Your BW, MDM, XI, EP, all this they make it as a suite and they sell it as a NetPure suite generally. Nothing to do. See, when it's integration broker, it will be PI. When it's a business process management, BW, MDM, knowledge management, portal. Only కలిపి ఒక suite లాగా వేసి he sells it suite. Okay. So whenever you say BW, it will be a NetWeaver component. Okay. Now look at this. Now this is like same thing what we explained. Look at this. This is all your business suite with CRM, SCM, SRM, planning, product lifecycle management. You'll have ERP. ERP nothing but your ECC. It's all your business suite. You extract data from your business suite into BW, and we can also use some third-party ETL databases, third-party ETL tools like BODS and get into BW. On top of BW, we can start having reporting done with what is this? SAP BIX and also using BO, Business Objects Portfolio, which brings you crystal reports. Now here you will also have something called Design Studio. This is old screenshot. Major would be Design Studio. Okay. And all the reports can be published on the SAP portal or BO portal. Like BO also has got its own portal like Launchpad. We can also get the reports into that also. Ultimately, this is how it will. And future you can have look at scenario like where BW being powered by HANA and the reporting done on top of BO. Again, you also have a case where HANA being powered with what? Without having BW, they can have HANA and doing reporting on BO. Rare case. This will be for customers who doesn't have BW. Straight away they can use HANA as a data mart and then do reporting. HANA ఎలా ఉంటుందంటే even this, if these are the cases as data mart, they'll have BW as warehouse. From BW they can put partial data into HANA then do reporting. They call it agile data marts. They call it agile data marts. అంటే warehouse is one with full set of data in it. సరే నా CEO గానికి మాత్రం BW మీద వద్దంట, వాడికి భారీ పర్ఫార్మెన్స్ కావాలంటే అంటే అప్పుడు ఏం చేస్తుంటే ఈ బిడబ్లో నుంచి ఏ డేటా సీఓకి కావాలో ఆ డేటా మాత్రం హనాలోకి వేసుకుని దాని మీద రిపోర్టింగ్ అట్లా కూడా వాడతారు. దే కాల్ దట్ దే కెన్ ఆల్సో యూజ్ హనా యాజ్ అజైల్ డేటా మార్ట్స్ ఆల్సో. సో ఇఫ్ యూ లుక్ అట్ దిస్ కేస్ దే ఆర్ యూజింగ్ BW యాజ్ అ డేటాబేస్ ఇన్ హనా బస్. Now they use HANA as a separate data mart. From BW they export data into HANA and then they do reporting also. In case by case, but I would say majority of the case would be this combination. Okay. These different tools. Okay, and so your system would something look like this. I'm sitting on the client system. Okay, I have a server. Okay, so what I do is when you go to start programs, you'll have something called SAP front end. From the client system, if you get connected to the SAP system, you have to install something called SAP GUI. So once you install SAP GUI, you'll have this menu as SAP front end, which you log into it. Okay, and then this is the GUI. Once you have the SAP GUI, you can get connected to any SAP application, ECC, CRM, anything. Okay, BW, whatever it is. Now this is my BW system. Just select this and say, if I just look at these details, it has got some server IP and some system number and system ID. Now when I say select this and say login, I'm connected to that server in that IP address. Okay. Or in the real time, they'll have defined landscape. They'll have development environment, quality environment, production environment. So basically, you have to add up all your systems here and then select this and say what? Login. You get connected to that SAP. So when you want to create new item, it's a new item. Give some description, server name, system number and system ID, and then once it is formed, you can start logging into that system. Let's say I log into this. This is how you basically log in with user ID and password. Authentication is done, and SAP Easy Access is the first screen you get in. So you'll have all the menus through which you can access anything in BW. See, whatever you can do in BW, you'll have all the ready-made menus available. You can just double click on it and get into it. For example, so I want to get into information systems, or let's say tools. Or I want to put office, class applications, or I can get into some favorites. You'll have some reports. This okay. You can get into these menus like this. Normally we don't use that menu, but we have something called command bar. Okay. So here what SAP has done is for each kind of menu, they give shortcut codes, 4-character codes, which is called as transaction code actually. Okay. So in this we basically use something called RSA1. There is no full form for it. Fixed codes something. Okay. So when I use this RSA1, it takes me to something called data warehousing workbench. And this is where 90% of your life would be into this if you are working on BW. Okay. So you'll have something like modeling, and then say for example source systems here. Now if I try to create, this is where you create connections. If I try to create connection, I can create a connection to SAP, myself, dummy, BOD, UDC connector, external BAPIs. You have different kind of adapters which can connect to different systems here. Once you connect, you basically formulate something called data sources, like explaining what fields are coming from the source. Means sources, let's say source is giving a flat file, so what columns are there, what fields are there. Okay. Then you start mapping this to a provider. Like in BW, we basically store it in form of a, this is like cube. Yeah. Say you can get into the cube. So this is the data source. This is your target, and then you do mapping like this with something called transformations. So in the transformations, you can transform your data by implementing ABAP routines or all those stuff you can do, and ultimately start staging the data into your targets like this. Okay. And once the data is targeted into this, we can start creating reports with this. If you go to this SAP BEX, I told you we use BEX something. You log into query. We have something query designer here. You log into this and start designing your reporting. I'm just showing you how it is. Like say you basically, I showed you something source system where you create established connection. Then from that connection, what data do you want to bring in? Based on the definition, you create a data source. You'll have a target, map both those to with the help of transformations, and trigger the loading. So data comes into cube. Once data is loaded into cube, you start creating your. I just open up some report which is already there. So this is like one kind of report where you're doing. It's all drag and drop. You drag and drop here, and you get customer, product, document number, and all. You just depending on the drag and drop, it forms your preview here. And just you can start running this query. You can start running this query on the browser. Some people say BW is Excel reporting. You can still run this query on the browser. Okay. Now I get configuration layer out. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to show you report output. I can go to RSRT and let's say this is my query. If I want the query as a HTML output, I can run this query on the browsers also. Yeah. Okay. Like this is my output I have got. Say I would like to remove the year from the drill down. I can do slice. I can just play on it. I would like to remove year completely. Yeah. And then I would like to remove the filtering of this. Now this is all data. Now I would like to drill down on say customer number wise. So I've got all these customers and their amount and quantities. Let's say now I would like to remove the customer. I would like to drill down on product. Now these are my products. Now I would like to drill year. I want year wise split. Drill across. I would say. You can do slicing and dicing within the query. This is all flexibilities for the end user on the reporting front. So, and you can do export Excel as a CSV file, or if you can have in a lot of conditions, alerts. All this can be done on the query design. And what are the query you have designed here? You can basically go to the query properties, and you enable a property called allow external access to this query. Then this query can be consumed in your BO environment also. Same query can be consumed into the BO environment if this checkbox is enabled. Like this is how the tools look like. Query designer ela untundi. This is how it looks like in the backend modeling. You'll have different menus here. So depending, you'll have something called process change. Basically, this is for automating your data loading. Normally you can trigger that as job, but if you have set of processes to be performed every day, I have a graphical way of connecting them. So I can create a process like this and schedule them every day. So every day it performs all those processes like this, depending on the scheduling. So you can go to start process of it and you can schedule when do you want to run later, all this. So job scheduling options, administration options, metadata, and it also maintains the complete metadata. There's something on metadata here. When you say metadata, what does it mean? Information about every object you're creating. So every object you create query, ODS, anything, it starts maintaining that metadata information into this. Okay, you can get into this. We'll see this. We can get inside and see. It's more of HTML. Metadata will be more of HTML page where you get to see all the. It's like you can understand like documentation of the objects what is created in BW. And you'll have something called translation, which allows you. Let's say you developed your object in German and you want to translate it into Arabic. You can still do. You have an translation flexibility, and this is very important. BI content. BW is rich in business content. When I say business content, ready-made objects delivered by SAP. So you don't have this flexibility in HANA. That's the problem. It's not, everything has to be customized, done from the scratch. Okay, but in BW you have ready-made. It has been there from years together. So the lot of business content built by SAP. What they've done is SAP already understood the requirements of the business. Yes, give you a ready-made cube, ready-made reports, ready-made data source. You just have to install them, start connecting, and start loading the data and then delivering reports. It is very rich in business content. You can, and then there's something called transport connection. I was telling you, in the real time you'll have a landscape where you'll have development, quality, production. So in that case, you develop your object in the development environment and then transport the objects to quality and then to production. So for transporting objects, we use this transport connection. For administration, you basically do a complete error analysis, monitoring, everything can be done in administration. And for all modeling, designing your providers, designing your cube, creating ODS, all this can be done in modeling point of view. So most of your life would be in this screen, 90% of it. So this is how BW tool looks like, and then you'll have a front end reporting on this. And we can have reports running onto browser also. So, BW Excel reporting undi, browser good undi. Excel reporting, it's not so cheap, okay? You give report to user in any tool. No buying last then Excel case because they are not comfortable with those tools. They are more comfortable with Excel. So no browser last question then Excel case he ultimately wants it in Excel and he does the pivot and then gets his analysis. So Excel reporting is easy. Okay? So we have Excel reporting and also onto browsers also. And same reports what it design here can be integrated onto portal. So you say query and say publish to portal. So that gets into enterprise portal and the users can start accessing it from the portal. So in the portal I can have one report where one table getting data from BW, one table getting data from CRM, one table getting data from. You can also build an IViews like that also. But user will never know whether data is coming from where. Okay? He always gets into one. But as per SAP standard, it says to get a single point of truth in any reporting environment, combine all the data into warehouse, then take it if you want. If you're okay with the reporting there, do it, or if you want, you can take it from there to anywhere you want and do report. And taking data into other applications and doing reporting is what we call agile data mart center. Say only for finance people, they want their data into some other application, they want to have dedicated some view, then they can do it. That is called agile data mart for finance, like they can implement like that also. Okay, boss? Okay, this is fine. So basically when you say scope, but I'm not a person who can really comment on the market. BW job lekkunaya ante nenu prapancham anta chudelenga, okay? But what I understand is you will have more opportunities in BW because of the combinations. Even if you have 1 lakh BW people, still it's not sufficient because the combinations. I am a BW consultant in my company, but I am with ABAP combination. But if a product comes in with BW with BO project, I may not be suitable for it. So they again go for a recruitment drive where they say I want BW with BO com. But very less job opportunities purely if you say a BW consultant. It's always a combination. Okay, so till now we had full swing for BW ABAP BW combination. Now we are already having for BW BO combination. The next would be BW HANA combination. So now already there are a lot of BW consultants in the companies already, but they are not in combination with HANA. So when they want consultants with HANA combination, again new set of people enter in with this combination. అంటే ఒక్కొక్క కాంబినేషన్ వచ్చే కొద్దీ కొత్త వాళ్ళు ఎంటర్ అవుతుంటారు. అర్థమైందా? అందుకు ఎక్కువ ఆపర్చునిటీస్ ఉంటాయని నేను అంటాను. అది పాయింట్. దేర్ మైట్ బి రిక్వైర్మెంట్ ఎక్స్ప్లిసిట్లీ ఎ పర్సన్ విత్ FICO విత్ BW, NMM విత్ BW. There could be a person with XLCS knowledge on BW. That's all. But BW would be base and the combination should be added to that. That's how it goes on. Okay, boss, fine. Yeah. Any questions, boss? One second. Let me. Now, this is the course content which I'm dealing here. See, I know my weak point. I take course for a longer duration. అది నాలో ఉన్న మైనస్. ఓకే, ఎక్కువ రోజులు చెప్తా. సో బట్ టు కవర్ దట్ వాట్ ఐమ్ ట్రైంగ్ టు డూ ఇస్, దట్స్ ఐమ్ ట్రైంగ్ టు స్పెండ్ 2 hours a day. That is one point I've done to speed up the course. And one more point is I've cut down the topics of 3-point textbooks. Previously we are handling in the batch we are handling of 3-point text flow and 7 flows. Because now BW 7, right, in latest versions, even the 3-point text flow what we had is still supported. So I was dealing both. Okay? So it was taking so much time, but now it's almost completely outdated. So what I'm trying to do for 3-point text objects, I'm just having some ready-made videos from previous batch. I'll hold it there. Generally, you don't need it. If you want, you can just have a look at that. 7, you will learn 7 flow, but 3-point text flow will not be much different. Slide changes will be there. You can just look at that. But when I'm teaching about 7 flow, I would touch on theoretically I'll be touching it. This is not the way in 3-point text. I'll be touching those points. But practically, if you want to see how it looks like, you'll have ready-made videos of previous batch. So that's are not really needed. So no one is really expecting that. But if you want, you can use those videos out. So with these 2 points, I'm guaranteeing that we can speed up the batch and I can finish in 2 months. And no class on the weekends. It will be only 5 days a week. Okay. And I thought of this timing 6 to 8. If you are comfortable, I can move it to 5 to 7 also, depending on the requirement. There's no timing in the morning, not available. Yeah. So, any question? Now you can ask me. Now we're going to spend on the modeling part, extraction, then reporting, then we get on to different other extraction, other advanced modelings, performance tuning, and then we get on to support and implementation projects. We get into all this. This is your course content. So now tell me, you have any doubt now? Yeah, any questions, boss?